Welcome friends to the newest edition of Seahawkers What If, the most unique preview show in the multiverse. I'm your host, Quentin Bonner. I'm joined by my great friends, Brandon Schultz, and the protector of this darn multiverse, Mr. Phil Leidick. Boys, what else is there to say? But this What If is a preview show for Super Bowl 60, Patriots versus our Seattle Seahawks. I can't be more fired up. I'm mentally getting into the zone of, oh my gosh, when is game day? Can it be game day? Is it game day yet? When's kickoff? Brandon, when's it gonna happen?
Oh my gosh, this is the most fun week, and I'm so happy to be able to share it with you guys because if you go back in the history of the Seahawkers podcast, we did not have these additional shows leading up to the Super Bowl. It was Adam and me, and then it's morphed over the years, and we have all these extra great shows. And so I'm so happy, Phil, to be doing this with you and looking into this potential matchup with the Patriots. Well, it's not potential; it's an actual matchup, buddy.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say, Brandon. I mean, it's been 11 years. This is my first time. I'm a rookie Super Bowl podcaster. So Clinton and I need some tips on how do you handle yourself? How do you get ready? Like what are some things you have to know, some unexpected things as you try to podcast going into your team's Super Bowl week?
You always hype up your team. You downplay your opponent as much as possible. And you just look forward to a victory.
Perfect. I can do those things.
There's no voice tips or any special preparation.
I mean, you guys got the voices. I mean, what do I need to tell you at this point? You may be a rookie in the Super Bowl game, but you're not a rookie in the podcast game.
Well, perfect. Well, boys, we always look at, usually we'll do a previously from the protector where we look at the game previous, but Phil is calling a little Omaha. He's got an audible. He could take us into it. I believe, Phil, you want to talk about some DVOA of these teams as we headed into the season and then as we headed down the stretch. So why don't you take it away, bud?
Yes. DVOA we've talked about throughout the year and the previously, but since the Patriots played the Broncos without a quarterback, we do not care about that game. We do not care. It doesn't matter. There's hardly anything to learn because I think the offense played safer. I think the defense didn't have to deal with a quarterback that had played football in ages, and he shouldn't have even when he did. And so I thought it'd be good for previously to just kind of see how the Patriots have improved this season because their overall DVOA is 7th, which is still really good, but they've come up to 2nd going into this game with weighted, which really accounts for recent games. And so we're talking about a team that is on the way up. We feel like we're hitting our stride. The Patriots also are, if you didn't know that. For offense, it's really interesting. Our offense is 8th overall for DVOA, but we're down to weighted at 11th, but that has come back up a little bit. But the Patriots on defense were only 12th overall for the season. However, weighted, they're up to 4th DVOA. So we're talking about a defense that is really playing well. For the Seahawks, we're just 1 and 1. Overall we're 1. We're 1 right now, weighted. However you want to look at it, this is the best defense in the league, no doubt about it. But New England's offense DVOA was 5th, and they have come up to 3rd. So you don't look at their players and kind of how they play and say, wow, that's a dynamic offense. But DVOA says they're effective. DVOA says they're very effective. In fact, by weighted, they're the 3rd most effective offense going right now. And I think that may surprise a few of us. Anything to say about this or the matchup that we do not care about, Brandon?
Yeah, I like how that the analysts have now shifted toward weighted DVOA because just regular DVOA doesn't put this game close enough. Okay. So we go, oh, well, we have to do weighted DVOA because that actually shows that these two teams are close. One of the things that when you look at DVOA, though, and an interesting component of this for our Seahawks, gentlemen, is that this is not just number 1 DVOA team for this season. This is a top team of all time. Mm-hmm. And if we were to there's I think one team ranked above us in DVOA that lost the Super Bowl, and that was the 2007 Patriots team that lost to the Giants. So Mike Strahan, not on the opposite side of this defensive line, but maybe we'll get into some defensive players who we do need to worry about.
And that's the thing about DVOA. Typically, we look at where they rank, but the actual score of our DVOA is a whole different thing. It's not just the slotting, it's our percentage of DVOA is quite exalted at this point. Clinton, anything else about some of these numbers or last week's or a week and a half ago's game?
The game, no, because you said it. It's that game just doesn't really matter as to what will happen in this next game. I don't think it's going to be predictive of anything. It was Jared Stidham in a snowstorm. That's cool.
Yeah.
Great. With all that said, if you listen to the Patriots podcast this week, which I've been diving into a lot of them, there's a couple of things they're really anchoring on. I know, yeah, a couple of things they're really anchoring on. Like number one, that the Broncos and Texans defense is better than Seattle's defense. It just is, guys. It just is. It's just better. Meanwhile, every metric will say no, it's not. And yeah, it's not going to get any worse. The Texans are actually much significantly different type of threat. It's just some delusional stuff, absolute delusional stuff. So much so that they've over-rotated on like, well, maybe the Patriots defense is actually better than the Seahawks defense after all. And it's like, so they are in la la land, right?
Oh,
they are
boy.
This is like hardcore Pat's well-watched Patriots podcasters out there. They shall remain nameless, but a lot of them, and they just keep on this, like, drumming this thing up.
And they're saying, do you like apples or something?
Yeah, how do you like them, Matt? But so the reality is, look, we're going to go through it. This is what if is. I think they are a good team. I think they're a skilled team, but I think the Pats fan base is so over-rotated on that they're the better defensive team because they've strung together a couple of nice performances over offenses that can't get out of their own way. They are in for a rude awakening if they're trying to juxtapose that Chargers team or a Stidham-led Broncos team versus what Kubiak and company are going to dial up. It's going to be completely different. I'm excited to get into it, Phil.
I mean, even looking at the weighted DVOA numbers on defense, they're a minus 17.1, which is fourth. We are plus 47.7. I mean, it's not even the same ballpark. It's only close because of the ranking. That's nuts.
We'll get into it. Christian Gonzalez is a shutdown corner. The defense, they stopped all these dynamic quarterbacks on the way to the Super Bowl. I don't know what we're gonna do, guys.
Yeah, it's gonna be impossible.
I do know what we're going to do, but we are going to get into what if now. So for those that might be brand new to the show, first and foremost, subscribe on YouTube. We're about to get over our very next milestone, so make sure you're helping us get there. It raises the Hawkra, which is really, really good. But every single week, Mr. Phil, we don't call him the protector of the Seahawks multiverse for, any reason at all. There's a very specific reason, because he comes up with a custom theme every single game of the year. And then from the custom theme, we have 6 topics we're going to discuss, debate, and give you our opinions. It's going to help, the narrative of how do we see this game playing out. The coolest part that you need to know is that Brandon and I have no idea what the theme is. We have no idea what the 6 topics are going to be. So Mr. Phil, take it away. This is the Super Bowl after all. Expectations are high, Mr. Phil. What is our custom theme? And, why are we talking about that, buddy?
The first time I've ever had a chance to do a theme for a Super Bowl. So I was tossing around a lot of ideas. I just stuck with something simple because I really love the Roman numerals of how our first one was XL. And now we're going to LX to kind of bring it full circle and put us kind of even the balance here as we're 1-2 in Super Bowls to bring us back to 2-2, just kind of flipping that 20-year cycle. And I'm excited about it. So, gentlemen, what if the Hawks are champs of LX, Super Bowl LX? So the categories will alternate between L and X, and they're fairly, other than 1 or 2, the hints are pretty strong here. So you get a pretty good idea what's behind these. The first L is long, then we have explosive, then we have LOS for the line of scrimmage. We have X factor, line in the sand, X's and O's. This is our 20th game that counts this year, which means Clinton gets to go first. By the way, Brandon has been on a terror that no one would have anticipated to come back on the predictive challenge. And so if he's able to pull that off at the end of the show, then that means he ties, and my celebration of Clinton's win was a little bit early. So anything can happen. We have 6 choices. Clinton, where shall we go first?
Oh man, great job. Great job. First, I just want to soak in the theme for one more time in the 2025 season. Man, what a good year it's been. Okay, these are great. I love my comic books, so I'm going X Factor. X
X
Factor.
Factor.
Let's
There's
go
not
there.
X-Men probably would have been a great category.
No,
I
that's
should
okay.
say
There,
that.
hey, there's an X Factor. That's also a variant of the X-Men. It's all good, brother.
Sweet. Yeah, X-Men is pretty good. X Factors, intangibles, Clinton. What if we talk about some players who might give an intangible advantage in this game? Which Pats might concern you in that way, or which Hawks are you counting on, Clinton?
Okay. Cool. I was hoping it'd be something like this, and obviously the clue led me here, so which is good. So the first Patriots guy that I have some concerns with because I think he's going to be a bit more dynamic in this position. And it's a thing we've done really, really well all year to give you like, where am I coming from on this? So something we've done extremely well all year is great on covering punts and covering kickoffs. We've been nasty about that. The Patriots are going to counterpunch because they got Marcus Jones back there, who's their nickel back. But he's really good at this thing. He's really good.
Right, yeah.
He's a really good punt returner, and he could be. And if you kick him the ball in the wrong spot in kickoffs, he's quick, he's twitchy, he's decisive, he's short. He's just kind of this super. He's a kind of the kid on the playground that you just can't seem to get a hand on. He might be 5'8" and all, but he's just quicker than you are out in the playground. If you could think about your elementary days, that's Marcus Jones, guys. He is a little bit of a problem. He could be a problem. We have been exceptionally sound on special teams. And I think this is the kind of game where the Patriots will need something, whether that's a trick play or a big special teams play or an extra turnover that we're not expecting. And a way they could get that is some dynamicism from Marcus Jones. So that's the Patriot that concerns me that maybe folks are not thinking about, Phil.
All right. How about you, Brandon? An advantage we might have, a Hawk you're counting on for some intangible, or a Pat that you're concerned about in this one?
Yeah, I feel like, gosh, we're so familiar with our Seahawks, and we've done other preview shows kind of leading up to this week where we've focused a lot on our Seahawks players and some of the intangibles and advantages we might have there. So I do want to stay with the Patriots on this one because I think that one of the things that Mike Vrabel is going to look at is wanting to make Sam uncomfortable. And especially when we hear from Patriots fans all week, like they're expecting Sam Darnold to turn into a pumpkin, just like the 49ers fans were expecting Sam Darnold to go back to being Jet Sam Darnold. Rams, for a third straight time, were expecting Sam Darnold to go back to the previous Sam Darnold. And so I do hear a little bit about that from Patriots fans too. But if they're going to do it, they're going to have to send extra dudes. And they have been really ramping up their blitzes in the postseason. And it's worked out well for them, right? Because they've taken down C.J. Stroud. They had a chance with Bo Nix, but that we're kind of throwing that game out. But I mean, you go back to Justin Herbert in the first win against the Chargers. Like that's really what has set them up with success. And so the couple names that I would look for, and if I'm just going to pick one, I would pick out Robert Spillane, who's a linebacker for the Patriots. And he is the guy who has hurried the quarterback the most on blitzes. And so it would be that particular player with the blitzes, a couple other guys who have kind of reached that, the number of hurries based on blitzes, their safety, Jalen Hawkins, and their corner, Marcus Jones, who they'll send on blitzes too. So I'll name the linebacker as the one guy, but a couple other guys to concern yourself with, and how the Seahawks pick up those blitzes, or if Sam's able to get rid of the ball quickly, that could go a long way to seeing victory for Seattle.
And maybe that's what has happened in these Patriot fans' mind. They faced broken Justin Herbert, heart and emotionally broken C.J. Stroud, and
offensive lines that aren't that
bad.
Chargers, they're also
decimated.
Broken, and Stidham is like
Texans
he's never
garbage.
been right. So
yeah, and then you have Stidham, right, and a big snowstorm. Phil, I do have one on the Seahawks side. If you
let's
want that one as
an
well.
intangible X factor dude on the sea. I know you love these guys, so we should get
I
yours.
do. This is my jam, dude. It's not so much dark horse. It's not like dark horse who shows up in the stats for me, because if he catches a pass, it'll be a lot. But Eric Saubert's presence on this team has been gigantic. There's a reason mid-season we extended him when he wasn't at first half of the year. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, he's nice. That's cool. When we're doing 13 personnel, he's a dude. He's nice. It's a good looking tight end, and he's doing his job as a blocking tight end. And then when Arroyo went down, he was more featured, and it was 12 personnel. Our 12 personnel got, in my opinion, better and more successful running the football, play action out of 12 personnel. And Saubert is just we did a lot of 3 and 3 out down the stretch, guys, watching the zone run operate, because there was harmony. And Saubert was more often than not right in the middle of that orchestra, dudes. Just right in the middle, like doing whatever it was that he had to go do, whether that's hook an edge guy, get to a second level, whatever it was. His blocking has been so key to the last 5-6 weeks of our run game and then into the playoffs becoming something really legitimate that really rounded this team out. So if we're watching 12 personnel and watching Saubert win at the line of scrimmage over and over and over, or if he has to stay home and give Sam an extra beat on something with a max protect, Eric Saubert to me is such a key cog, and not one that NBC is going to talk about, but we're going to talk about, guys. So Saubert's my guy.
Couldn't miss a chance to stomp on Arroyo on your way to your special Seahawk.
I wouldn't call it a stomp. I would say one dude's more important than the other.
Yeah. And isn't Eric's arm like 8,000 years long?
It is.
I mean, is there a longer arm?
His levers are gigantic. Yes.
Yes. Brandy, did you have an intangible Hawk?
Oh gosh, we'll probably get to them in these upcoming questions. I don't want to spoil everything ahead of the rest of these great topics, Phil.
Just had to give you your shot. Had to give you your shot. X Factor is gone though, Brandon, which means you get to pick the next choice.
All right, let us go. Speaking of long levers, why don't we go with long? A shout out to Sir Mix-a-Lot, who is long and strong.
Long and strong. Brandon, what if the Pats need long chain moving drives, which has been their thing? They have tons of 10, 12 play drives this year. Long chain moving drives to score. Can they actually do this against the Hawks defense, and how?
Yeah, I think they are going to need some explosives, and they've found ways to do that too. I think though that if they're going to move the chains, make some long drives happen, one of the players that they're going to need is their tight end Hunter Henry to do that. And I think that that could end up being an advantage for us too. I mean, just based on Nick Emanwari, like we have learned, and hopefully other teams have started to learn, or maybe we hope that they haven't learned, that if Nick Emanwari is out on the field, you don't throw his direction. And I think that he could end up being the guy that that sees some Hunter Henry targets if he's out on the field. But Ernest Jones also good against linebackers. Shoot, Julian Love has been incredible this year. Yes. Just I saw some of his defensive numbers in allowed targets when
does anybody complete the ball on him?
Like, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. I love him.
But I think that if they're going to need it, Hunter Henry is going to be the guy for this Patriots offense.
I do think Nick is a little gettable in like play action when he's in zone. I think a few times I've seen him try to go up and set the edge early on the runner, and then the guy, like something like Henry you're talking about, can sneak around. It's got him a couple times, so that could definitely be a concern. They do love long chain moving drives. That's a Joshy boy thing, McDaniel. So Clinton, can they do it against us? That's what he wants to do. You think they can? Should we be scared of that?
To an extent, yes.
Okay.
To an extent, yes, because the formula for how they play football, like you were just getting at with McDaniels, this is what they want to do, and they have the componentry to do it versus most teams. We are not most teams, and there will be points where we shut them down and they don't get extended drives. But do not be shocked if they put together one or two 6-minute plus drives in this game that result in points. And they have a head coach who understands that sometimes points are good and will take 3 points when they're given to him. So with all that being said, there's a couple of things here. McDaniels, like you said at the jump there, if you sit back in zone, he will find ways to pick apart zone. Made a living out of that with Tom Brady back there. So what do we expect? We expect Seattle to probably play more man than usual. And there's good and bad there's more risk on those things. But you can't
especially with their quarterback. You start playing man, he's going to tear you up with his feet.
Well, you play zone. Correct. So that's another component, right? So other components how can they do this? Well, again, componentry. Drake May was a 72% completion percentage quarterback this season. That's a very high, legitimate completion percentage. So when he's throwing the ball, he's darn accurate with it. The other piece of May is that he's a play extender. To me, guys, he reminds me so much of Big Ben Roethlisberger, young Ben. Which stinks, because thinking about 20 years ago with 2005 Super Bowl and Big Ben not getting a touchdown that they decide to review and say it's a touchdown. That's cool.
That defense was a little bit different.
Very different. Very, very different. But to me, Drake May, a comp for him, EJ was just on with Brandon and Adam last night, and he was saying, hey, like LSU Joe Burrow, senior year Joe Burrow.
Oh, when he ran all the time.
Cool comp. I think he's more like Big Ben year 2. And we saw what Big Ben can do. Elusive, tough to get down, still accurate, et cetera, et cetera. So you put all those things in a blender, guys. McDaniel's ability to pick apart zones. They will run the football. They will keep going to Ramondre Stevenson. They will get dump offs to Ramondre Stevenson, also get him his touches that way. And May is very accurate, and May will escape a few things and get clutch first downs with his feet. You put those things in a blender, it is the recipe for how you stay on the field. And that's annoying. And so, yes, Phil, can they do it a few times? Yes. Will they? Probably. Will it be enough times? That's where the cookie crumbles, the rubber hits the road. I do not think so. I think we'll figure it out.
This is a best on best thing too. Like we've watched this team for 19 games. There are very few times where a team just had the ball forever and just kept getting first down after first down on these short plays. And yet that's what the Patriots do all the time. So it's going to be a huge, huge thing to look for in this particular matchup. That is long. So long is gone. X factor is gone. 4 choices for you, Mr. Clinton.
All right, let's talk about where the game is won and or lost. But for us, won the line of scrimmage. LOS.
Yep. We have to deal with this one. Huge, huge factor. What if you talk about where either team might have some advantages at the line of scrimmage? In particular, Clinton, some advantages you see for either side.
Yeah, I mean, the one that everybody is talking about, like, doesn't matter what side you're on, Seahawks side, national media side, Patriots side, is the idea of Milton Williams and Barmore being really good defensive tackles, and what they might cause for what would be Sundell, Bradford, and of course Zabel, right? So that is the one I think has been.
What you mean by those 3 is Bradford, but go ahead.
No, I mean, I don't, because
okay,
Bradford. I know. Bradford's the strongest of those 3 by far, right? So going toe to toe, strength wise, give me Bradford. But again,
if he targets right.
Well, yes, but he's by far the strongest of those 3 dudes. He just is. But all that being said, that's what everybody is talking about, and beating the drum is like, if the Patriots are disruptive here, that's cool. I would like to flip that conversation to, well, how do we make sure that doesn't beat us? And I think there are ways, and maybe we save them for a different question. But that's the place everybody's going to talk about. On the line of scrimmage on the other side, look, the Patriots are pretty good. You cover your ears and eyes, folks that watch our draft coverage. Jared Wilson as their left guard's really good. Really good.
That's the guy I wanted over and over. And
yes, we did. Him. Yes, we did. A very good left guard. They're good up the middle. They're a little susceptible on the edges. And Will Campbell, EJ was just on with you, Brandon, and Will Campbell has been playing injured and been getting exploited after he got injured. Cool. Let's overload that side. That's a rookie, and let's get after their weak link. Let's just completely exploit what is their weak link, which are both their tackles. Now, the last part about that is it'll come down to potentially, hey, we got to get that Max Crosby. We got to get that Trey Hendrickson. Well, maybe we don't. we haven't needed him all year long because we have DeMarcus Lawrence, because we have other dudes on the edge who cause consistent pressure. So let's see our dudes get home 4 or 5 times this game, and I think we'll be in a really good position, guys, and we'll win the line of scrimmage.
Great stuff from Clinton. Other than the sad meat you had to slip in the sandwich to remind me, we could have had Zabel and Wilson if we'd have taken Wilson instead of, Milrow, Arroyo. But you had to throw that in there. But that was awesome
Hey,
stuff.
we're here. We're in the Super Bowl with the
Yeah.
team we got, right? So I feel you, and I understand that.
Yeah.
And yes, I can still be a little sour grapes about Wilson.
Brandon, line of scrimmage, where do you see some advantages for either?
And I know what Clinton was getting at too, as far as Bradford being like the strong guy, because when with Milton Williams and Christian Barmore, like they are very athletic, and so I think the concern is that they'll be able to get those quick moves on.
That's
Bradford,
my concern.
right? Those but if he can lock onto them, like he should be able to stonewall those guys because he's much bigger. But I think where the advantage lies is at the edges, and talk about Charles Cross and Abe Lucas on the outside, because the guys that they're dealing with on the edges are Harold Landry and Clavon Chason. So I think that in the passing game that makes a difference. You do have to be concerned. I'm really interested though in how our tackles then impact the run game, because I think that getting K9 on the outside and around the edges, because I don't want to see Kenneth Walker running up the middle necessarily, especially with those two dudes at defensive tackle. Like, I feel like that goes poorly for us. But if we are blocking well on the edges with our two tackles, and throw Saubert out there too, our tight ends, if we can get K9 on the outside, I think that could end up being the advantage that we need in this game to help control clock, help open up play action, so then we can get the ball to our number one guy, JSN.
Yeah, that really neutralizes their advantage too, Brandon. If we move those inside linemen, such as Sundell, such as Zabel, pull them around and help on the edge and get K9 where he's awesome, it takes away what they have in the run game to deal with us up the middle, and you still can use those same great blockers out at another location. I think the Patriots have to be concerned about doing it just like that. And
Phil, I want to just add on to that's what I expect how we will counter run wise, at least, right? It's like, well, I don't think just going toe to toe with lighter guards makes sense versus no, like this is Mike Macdonald's philosophy and Kubiak's philosophy. It's like, we are a wide zone stretch run team. That's what we do. We're not going to stop because the Patriots specifically, they're very good up the middle. Like, okay, well then 3 yards in a cloud.
We will go around them. We do not care.
Exactly.
We
will
do
go
not
around
care.
them. But if you could get Sundell in space and getting to a second level, which we can do, cool. The advantage goes right back to us, and we mitigate what is on paper, sizable advantage up the middle for the Patriots. But then the whistle blows, and we're not going to just pound it. We're going to do it our way, and I think we can
literally chase edges by moving the ball to the edge, just like Mike Macdonald wants us to do. Awesome. Well, we've made it to 3, and we've had a lot to talk about so far, but we have 3 more. Brandon, where would you like to go?
All right, let us go X's and O's.
Okay, here we go. Here's the
Great
big one.
song, by the way.
Well, they're all big. But what if we talk about the quarterbacks? How may Mike muffle Drake? See what I did there? How can Clint do his darndest to help Sam?
All right, how might Mike muffle Drake May? I think that, well, I touched on the part about Clint helping out Sam. I think it comes through the run game. Muffling Drake May. I think that, one of the things that I feel like is going overlooked, especially by Patriots fans going into this matchup, is how Drake May has struggled against some of the top defenses down the stretch. The way that they do that is they go, well, Drake May, the best defenses that he's beaten have been down the stretch. Okay, but he's beaten those best defenses by only scoring, 14 points, 17 points, 10 points. Like, they haven't been scoring.
He
And so
beat them by making their opposing offenses play terrible, Brandon. Don't you know the mystery power of Drake May?
I mean, part of that does play into the Patriots defense. And so,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a reason why they're here.
Yes.
But Drake May hasn't necessarily, like, he was very good through a good portion of the season. And then I just feel like it's being downplayed at how much he has struggled with things like turnovers, how he struggled against some of these top defenses. And yes, he has won, and that's, I mean, you have to do that to be in this game. But I think that when you have a couple of guys like Nick Emanwari, a guy like Devin Witherspoon, who can play all over the field, can play dime and stop some of those outside runs, because again, they're going to have trouble running up the middle against our Seahawks defense. That's where a big strength of ours is, with Leo Williams, with Byron Murphy, and EJ4, like, and Jaron Reed. Like that is a strength of ours. But running to the outside, also difficult. So I think that Mike will find a way to muffle Drake just through the use of our two of our top guys on that defensive side of the ball, and Devin Witherspoon and Nick Emanwari.
Can the Purdy approach, the Purdy defense that we implemented, can that do a lot to deal with May, or do you think he's very different?
I think it's similar because he is equally elusive. I do feel like, though, that the 49ers were a little bit different because they had better tackles on the outside. And Morgan Moses, I mean, he's a veteran, but he's not, I mean, he's bounced around a few teams. Like, I like Morgan Moses. And Will Campbell, as we talked about, is kind of dealing with injury type issues. So I think it's going to be tough for May to try and get outside, like the way that Purdy, we saw him running all over the field. I think May is going to end up having to step up. And that is going to, again, it's going to be real tough with Leo and Byron and Jaron.
Yeah, good. I like it. Clinton, how about you? How can Clint do his darndest to help Sam then?
Yeah, so I'll tackle that one first. I got some ideas on Mike muffling Drake too, but a couple of ways on Kubiak's ability to let Sam do his thing. And we saw it against the Rams, and we saw it against a bunch of teams. It's not like, oh, it just happened last week one time and that's that. We saw it a lot, and it's a staple. And they do it early, and I love it when they do it early. I feel like it does get Sam in a good rhythm, and that is simply getting Sam on the boots, getting them outside the pockets. So if they're going to have a good bit of pressure up the middle, which the Patriots, you could suspect they're going to get some, what I always call like crumple zone pressure. Cool. How do you mitigate that? Well, you don't just stand there. You don't just stand there and take it. There's two ways. One, get Sam on the move early. And Sam's one of a few quarterbacks in the league that when he boots left, he's got the strength and accuracy to still be deadly accurate with throws to the short side of the field when he's booting left. Most quarterbacks can't do that. Even in the NFL, he can. So let's see Sam get on the edges early and throw on the run and do Sam things. That's one way. Another way, and I'll give a hat tip to Adam, I was talking to him about this the other day, is that a little bit, some of the time, we'll get under center and we won't play action. It'll just be under center, 3 steps, and balls out.
Or no step drop, and there it goes to JSN on the
correct. And the ball's out, right? Yep. So that is a surefire way. It's like, okay, you're going to get all this, you're going to bring 6 dudes, and you're going to be in the box, and cool, you're going to mug the A gap. Cool. If the ball is out in 1.7 seconds, well, who cares? Then none of what you just did matters.
0.8 seconds on a couple of those.
Yes, correct. Now all that's happening is we have our most dynamic guy, well, maybe K9 and JSN, who is so subtly elusive with the ball in his hands. He's always able to get that extra whatever 2, 3, 4, 7 yards because he's moving before the guy is even reacting, right? So that all being said, that's 2 ways: get Sam on the move, and then just the quick hitting games that are happening now. And then, by the way, spring 1, 2, or 3 traps where it looks like a jailbreak and it's actually a very successful screen, like all day. Let's trap them a few times. That's the Sam side. The Mike side on Drake, for me, quickly, is just, I think we're very well set up for any quarterback, but this goes back to, we get pressure with 4 while we remain disciplined in our lanes. And that's the Purdy stuff I think you were talking about, Phil. don't change that. They're going to want to take a shot or two to Kayshon Boutte. Cool. Love to see if Reek could be on him more often than not. That's a dude who can stretch a little bit.
So worried about him. I'm so terrified, Clinton.
I'm not.
Can't sleep.
It's is that
like sarcasm.
heavy sarcasm font there? Yeah. I'm not worried about Boutte, but I do think if they're going to challenge deep a couple times, it'll beat a Boutte.
Yeah. Okay.
But I want to see Tariq. I want to see Woolen shut that down. So that's a couple of ways I think Mike will be able to, quell how impactful May can be.
I feel like Boutte is not quite Puka Nacua. I'm just in my mind. I feel like he's
the same.
He's a step or 7 below Puka.
Yeah.
Love those. That's what it's going to be. The way we handled Purdy excites me because not only, like you just said, we stayed disciplined on our rush lanes, we also kind of had Spoon and E-Man on either side, a lot of times playing like a 0.5 spy. So whether we did man or zone, they covered the area, but they also made sure Purdy did have nowhere to go if he went to their side, which I think is going to be something May hasn't seen a lot of yet. Hopefully. Maybe I'm wrong.
I just think May has not seen a team like this yet, and that will matter.
Well, X's and O's are gone. You get to choose what's last by choosing next, Clinton. We have explosive or line in the sand. One is a game, kind of.
Okay, let's go with the X. X marks the explosive spot. Let's try it.
Explosive, massive impact on this game. There's going to be a couple. What if you give the keys for explosive play on both sides of the ball? How can the Pats maybe manufacture some? How can we get some? How can we stop some? Clinton, however you want to handle this, explosives will be huge in this matchup.
Okay, I think it's going to be tough slant for the Pats to get explosives against us because we're very good. Like just no more analysis or great words needed.
And
there.
they don't have Puka, so that's number one.
And they don't have Puka. However, to me, this still reminds me very much of, I think it'll be a different outcome, but the Steelers Seahawks game where it's like, yes, the refs were dreadful. Yes. What's his face? Was Jeremy Stevens, the tight end? Is that right?
Stevens. Stonehand Stevens.
Yeah. He drops beautiful passes from Hasselback and there's penalties on touchdowns that should not be penalties. And we gave up a 75-yarder to Willie Parker, and we gave up a flea flicker touchdown to Antoine Randall when the entire world knew they'd probably try something like that.
Yes.
Right? Those are also true. The Patriots, they like their trickery. They like to go into their bag of tricks and try once or twice a game.
Joshy loves them.
Yep. He does. So I don't know how you prepare for it, but you just are aware that you got to be aware of the indicators, and that's a way that I think that they could get an explosive, which could really tilt the field. So that's just to watch for more from our standpoint. Don't know how you actually mitigate that.
They love that. They love the flea flicker, one of my dad's favorites. So
yep.
I guess what we would say is when we see the trick try to happen and we shut it down, we say, that's a huge indicator. We're on our way.
It happened a lot versus the Niners this year where they're trying things and it goes for a yard. The week before it's going for 55 yards. Against us, it goes for a yard, right? So, or it's a 4th down play and they're running an option play with use check for some reason. All good. And then on the other side of the ball, I mean, I don't want to be so flippant about, I am okay with, I believe that this is a good defensive backfield from the Patriots. I do not think it's outstanding. I don't think it's not gettable. And this is, to me, they're good. There's a game left. Spam JSN. Get JSN 12 to 14 targets.
Yeah.
And we know what the rest of the math equation looks like if that's the left side of the equation. I'll just pause there. I know that's like pretty obvious, but he's offensive player of the year for a reason. I don't think there's a mechanism on the Patriots that could just, the Belichick way, guys. Let's just take away their best player. Well, good luck. I don't know how you do that versus JSN. You put somebody else and you bracket them. Okay. Everybody tries that. Like what else you got? So spam JSN. He'll be successful.
They want to try to make us play left-handed or make Sam play left-handed with no JSN. And that's how Vrabel grew up. So I'm sure they'll try. Brandon, how about you? Keys for explosives either side of the ball.
Yeah, I'll start just to piggyback on a little bit of what Clinton was talking about with the Seahawks defense. I feel like the players that I would be most concerned about would be the guys that the Patriots would want to try, and that's Josh Jobe and that is Kobe Bryant. And outside of those two players, like, they're very good players, and it stinks to target those guys out as the weaknesses when really they aren't. But they're probably, if you're going to target players on this defensive side for
Drake
explosive plays, but
That's
in
not
terms
explosive.
of not explosive plays,
Yeah.
but those would be the guys that I feel like would need to come up in those big time moments, because I think that they would see the action. So I would say that those two guys would be key players. And I do want to tag more on JSN as what Clinton's talking about, because one of the things that you look at DVOA by teams defensively, and this Patriots defense has had like the worst DVOA against number one receivers.
Crazy.
And we have the number one of all the number ones in the NFL this year in Jackson Smith-Njigba. So when you talk about taking guys away, where have the Patriots been able to do that successfully this season? They haven't. That's something that they've been immensely had struggles with. And so a lot of the analysis going into this game is, oh, well, it's to this point of the season, JSN is the offense is run through JSN, and how can that be sustainable for the Seahawks? It's been sustainable. It's gotten us to this point. I think that we're going to, once we come away with the victory, it's probably going to be looking like a Jackson Smith-Njigba MVP Super Bowl game for him.
Yeah, that's a great call, because you'd think they want to take away number ones, and they just haven't. So that's the one thing that makes me really excited. Like, why not 5 explosives for JS in this game? I mean, we're set up for it based on statistical reasons. Explosives are gone. That leaves us with our game. We'll have to go quickly because we're running short on time for people's work reasons. So let's get right to it. This would be starting with Brandon. So Brandon goes first. What if you give some numbers that'll be indicative of moving the advantage toward one team or another? So I'm going to have you kind of draw your line. Like, if they cross this, that gives them the advantage. And so for Super Bowl LX, let's start with the, we'll go with Brandon first here. Rushing yards for the Hawks. We get to this number, we got a significant advantage.
I would say for just one back or total?
Total rushing.
Gosh, I think the number of rushing yards isn't as critical as the carries, and so I will say 24 carries. 24
carries. Just change it on me. How about the Pats? How about their rushing yards?
Oh, did you want yards? I'll do yards. I'll do 95. I don't even think we need 100.
95 is a good thing for us. How about the Pats? They cross this, and that's moving to where advantageous positioning for them if they get this many rushing yards.
If they break 100.
Okay, just over 100. Okay, how about sacks for the Hawks? We get this many sacks, and we've got an expected win, possibly, at least based on that movement.
4.
And how about them?
I'll go with 3.
Yeah, I'm trying to show something here, and you're actually falling right into what I'm thinking.
Oh, okay.
And then scrambles for first down or touchdowns by the quarterbacks.
Sam, it can be 1.
Okay.
Drake May, I think it needs to be 4 or 5.
4 to 5. Okay, yeah, you're really doing this for me. Brandon, how about completion percentage for the quarterbacks?
I would say Drake May 65%.
Drake needs to hit 65.
Sam Darnold, I'll stay in there too, 64.
They both need about the same. Okay, and then now we're just going to talk about JSN only, because they don't have a receiver that's comparable or matters. And so you would like JSN to have this many targets or more?
12.
And
yards.
Oh,
wait, targets? 14.
14. Okay, so significant advantage if he gets to 14, and yards?
125.
125. Okay, and then how many points do you say the Hawks need? You say if the Seahawks get to this amount of points, I'm going to say there's about a 2/3 shot that we win if we score this many.
16.
Okay. And then if the Pats score this many, they got a 2/3 shot of winning.
17.
27.
27. Okay. So Brandon just made my point. I don't even have to do Clinton, but we'll go ahead and Clinton.
I got it. I got them written down. So yeah, give me the categories.
Rushing yards for the Hawks. We need this many.
I think 130. 130 is a very okay. We imposed our will if we
We probably are winning with a 130. And how about the Pats? They need this many rushing yards to probably win.
I tweaked it up a little. Brandon said 100. I went 105. I think a little bit more than that. And remembering that includes May on the ground, right?
Mm. Actually, could be. You can't say probably.
Actually, I'm going to change mine to 120 because I'm thinking of what May can do with his feet. So 120 for the Patriots.
So they need 120 yards to probably win on the ground.
Yep.
Sacks, it's that's going to influence the win. It's harder to say they'll probably win, but if they get this many sacks, if we get this many sacks, we probably win.
Yeah, my number's down to that. I'm around that 3 as well. 3
and
plus.
For the Pats, they need this many sacks to significantly give them a shot.
I think they need more. I think they need 4+ sacks, if not more, to really give them a great shot.
And first down scrambles for our quarterbacks.
1 was right for Sam. That's great. I got May 5 or more. Yeah. Like you said, touchdowns or extension with his feet. That's one of the ways they'll do it, and maybe one of the only ways.
Yeah, completion percentage.
So I got May way higher. I think May's got to be better than his average. I think he's got to be 70. I think he's got to have a Phil Simms style Super Bowl, which he was 22 of 25 in 1986. So I think he's got to be 74, 75% or higher for them to really be having a shot.
That's not quite Simms, but sure.
Yeah, exactly.
And the one dynamic of that, though, would be if they're hitting explosive plays. Then I think that.
I just don't think they're going to hit that many explosive plays.
Which doesn't feel likely, but yeah. How about Sam? What is percentages he need?
Sam's got to be around 68 and a half. Right around there is you're in good groove, Sam, if he's doing that. And a little higher is great, but not necessary because he will get explosives. There will be chunks that we get because of scheme.
And JSN, we get this many targets, we're probably winning for JSN.
What's JSN's number? What number does he wear?
He wears 11.
That's right. 11.
Just 11 targets is all 11, he needs?
That's enough. 11 targets, 130 yards, and we're dancing.
Okay. And if the Hawks get this many points, 2/3 a chance we win.
I think 2/3 chance, I think if we get to 24, then very likely we win the football game.
And then the Patriots, for them to 2/3 shot win, they need to score this many.
Yeah, I think it's a bit higher. I think Brandon said 27, and I think that's about right.
So you're closer on what they need to. You think they can hold us under 27 a little? I mean, Brandon, you guys both put 27, but you say on the other side, the Hawks need to get 24 to have a most likely win, the 2/3 shot of winning. And he only said 16 because he thinks the Pats are going to have that hard a time of scoring. I just run through this, and all of these numbers say the Pats need to significantly do more than us in most of the areas to win, which leads me to say the Pats need to play awesome. The Pats need to play awesome, and we need to have a number of things go wrong for us to likely lose. It doesn't mean we can't. They're a very good team. But we need to have we need to get outplayed in a lot of areas just based on these numbers right here that nobody can read on my paper. You guys both made it clear if we went back and looked through them that we should have the edge, which is terrifying because well,
we are a better team. That's not Vegas has it as where it's at as well, but it's not without purpose. I think the Patriots have to win on special teams in some way, probably break off some trick, some explosive we didn't see coming, right? And they probably got to win the turnover battle and win it by obviously at least one. And Seattle could absorb some of those mistakes. I don't think the Patriots can. We're a better football team, but we got to go execute, guys. We got to go play. That's why it's a freaking game.
Yeah, I almost went with the turnovers or special teams. Obviously, those are factors, but we expect to win the special teams, and the turnovers is maybe too obvious. Time to do our wishes. What if Superhawk people get in there by going to how do they do this, Brandon?
GetInTheFlock.com. You help support the show. You get into the Discord. We're going to have fun throughout the offseason. Do it. GetInTheFlock.com.
Do it. And I got to go really fast on the wishes because Brandon's got to get to work. But there was a lot because it's a Super Bowl, so we got a Super Bowl amount of wishes. Yokai Hawks, first wish, no changes to our current coaching staff. You already didn't get that one. So that ups the chance of your other wishes coming true, just so you know, Yokai Hawk. Nate shoots, my wish prediction. Even Warrior becomes a Seahawk legend in the Super Bowl by having a huge performance. I'm thinking sack, PBUs, interception, big run stops. That would be awesome. Amy, since Jay gets to stay, let's go EJ4 with a pick. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Based on his games, about a third of the time he gets a pick. So that's a good wish. Bunny, I want to win, not only win, but the win needs to be so dominant and overpowering that Voldemort play is never mentioned again. This is destiny. Well, we can show that play and show the redemption of it. That would be just fine. Which will go to Josh's wish. If we get to the 1 yard line at any point in the red zone, we run it. Quarterback sneak, barnyard, fullback run, running back run. I do not care which one. We run the sucker down the Pats' throats for a touchdown. His second wish. Offensive line keeps the Patriots from front 7 at bay and Darnold clean and upright, so he's comfortable in the pocket and could be a stone cold killer throwing on target efficient throws, keeping the ball protected. Yes, if Sam is protected, he will do that, Josh. I guarantee it. JSN Jiggy with it, Super Bowl edition, my baby boy. JSN 150 plus yards, 2 touchdowns, Minotaur, 2 sacks, and a spoon interception. Go Hawks. She got all her 3 wishes in one sentence. See how it's done. She's the master. Car, been wishing for the 100-yard game for Kanan all season. That's got to be my wish for the Super Bowl. Yes, she's wished it into existence where we start to expect those canine 100-yarders. Yokai's wish too. Sammy D gets lots and lots of reps with Sheed as long as it doesn't tweak the bleak. So it's a practice wish. 12-man record, 6+ sacks. Spy Who Spooned Me. Seattle's D gets 2 turnovers and 5 sacks, sending the Pats back to the cold white north to shovel their driveways and think about their transgressions. Godzilla Hawk. Seahawks D gets 2 interceptions. And also, OL keeps Sam upright and allows the running backs 150+ yards. Wither Fork. Spoon pick 6. Just holding up the Lombardi no matter how the game goes. That will be a sweet moment. Witherfork. Last one. Flocktimus even got one in here. It was beloved. Jaron Reed gets the thick 6 and wins the MVP. Any of these pop to you, Clinton?
Oh yeah, several. But to be quick about it, I think the one, geez, I mean, Josh's O-line wish. I think Mark talked about it too. Got Zero Hawk. The O-line playing really a clean game, and what will become of that? What with Sam and the run game because of it? I think we're hosting Lombardi if that happens.
Awesome, Brandon.
All right, guys. As we move on to predictions, mic drop moment for me as I give my what if Superhawk and score prediction before I bounce out of here.
Okay.
What if Superhawk, JSN, MVP. Score prediction, Seahawks get the victory 28-15.
28-15, JSN MVP. Have a good day at work, Brandon. Clinton, I'll finish out the show. Go Hawks!
Go Hawks. All right. Sweet. Well, that was nice to get Brandon's in on the board right there. Also, it kind of tells me, I'm trying to protect my lead there, Phil. So now I know his score, which is cool.
So let's hear your what if Superhawk, and then we'll go over to the score sheet here, Clinton.
Yeah. Okay. So, man, he won it. So his MVP for JSN is really good. By the way, Vegas has that. When I last looked, it's plus 550. So pretty spicy for JSN to take home MVP. Almost a little bit, can it happen? Well, that's not that. It's almost the other way because I have a hard time seeing a JSN MVP. Then why not Sam? It's not like JSN. I'm going to knock on all the woods here. Not like JSN's going to throw a football. Right. And if he's probably not going to take an end around back for a touchdown. So if JSN's really going off, well, then, the NFL is a quarterback league. So then why not?
But Cup got one for doing what JSN could do.
True. Hey,
but I guess I see the plus 500.
Good points. I like it. All right. Look, you just brought up a dude that we haven't talked about once in this entire show. And that is Cooper. I forget what his middle name is. Adam
Douglas. Is that right?
Something like that. Cooper Bartholomew Cup, we'll call him. I think it might have been Douglas. So let's go with Cooper Cup. Coop, to have him finish the year in a really strong manner. He's down the stretch. He's been absolutely clutch. The volume showed up a bit more and the touchdowns came along with it. So why not last time I was asking for 4 receptions from Cup on our Blue Friday bets and got it. I'm going to go one higher. How about a 5 reception game from Cooper Cup? And hopefully one of those being a touchdown as well. But 5 receptions, with a lot of those being first down movers,
sure,
et cetera, for our veteran, our grizzled veteran wide receiver who just knows how to play the game of football.
5 receptions. We go to the predictions again, as I said at the top of the show. Brandon took Adam's deficit and brought it all the way back to within one by predicting over and over successfully since they flipped jobs on the Seahawkers podcast. As far as the what if Superhawks, we had the D-Law sack, and he did. He had the awesome face mask sack, so Brandon nailed that one. And then 3 sacks on Stafford, 1 for a turnover was Clinton's. We didn't quite get to that.
We did not.
But and then of course, Brandon was slightly better on the score prediction, just barely by 1. He $1'd you. So
okay.
Here's what you have to work with to try to go ahead and win, like I said you did, and you might not end up doing. He picked a 28-15 Seahawk win. Clinton, what is your prediction for this Super Bowl matchup?
Yeah, he gave me lots of room to step through there. I'm not gonna Price is Right $1 him because
okay.
I'm not gonna do that. I have a score in my brain that I think will be the score. So I'll go with it. And if I happen to lose and we tie and we're hosting Lombardi, then cool. Then we can all celebrate Brandon's immaculate comeback. I think this is a 27-20 ball game. And I think it's tight at moments. And Seattle makes not late fourth quarter play, but they make enough plays in the final quarter where they put this thing away. And so 27-20, yeah, just tight chested, a little bit nervous, but at the end of it, we show why we're the better team, Phil.
Yeah.
How about you, man? Like, not that you have to throw a prediction out there, but we don't get to turn the tables on you. How are you feeling about, the prospects for our Hawks to be hoisting that hardware when the game's over?
There's a lot of thoughts. I do like the Brandon's score area. Just 4 touchdowns, no field goals doesn't seem super likely against the way the Pats play red zone defense. So I don't know that I would go there. I think it'd be cool to get a 28-24 flip on Super Bowl 49 and then we win 28-24. That would be pretty sweet. I think we're going to win by 2 scores. I think it's going to go down in history as we enjoyed it. Nobody remembers it Super Bowl. That's just kind of, I feel like we're that much like arm length better. We're not way better. It's not going to be the boat racing like against the Broncos, like it was against the Niners this year. I don't think that can happen. I think the Pats are too disciplined for that. But I think we're going to be ahead. And maybe it's along your line that we give something up toward the end. I don't even know if our defense would do that. I think when we're ahead by 2 scores, I think we might not give them another one.
I got you. I think this game at some point in the late third quarter feels really close. We're like sitting there being like, okay, we need a player to not to salt it away. It's too early, but a player to stop a little momentum, get it back on our side, and we just get it. And why? Because we've been getting it all year. We've been getting that stuff all year long. But and how's it happened a lot too? We get a 4th down, we get a turnover on downs. It's like they're driving, they're not quite in field goal range. They're down 7, they got to go for it. And we get a timely sack, or we get a timely PBU, and we take the ball back over, and we just eat 5 more minutes of clock and basically salt the game away in that kind of way. So
I feel like it could be a 10-9 halftime.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then like a 10-9 halftime, and then we only let them get another field goal, and we win 20-12 or something like that.
I got one more question for you. So coin flip goes our way. Would you prefer to defer or take the ball versus the Patriots?
I want them to kick it to Shaheed, and if they don't, then we start at the 35 and we go get points.
Okay, I like it. So you want to put a little pressure, and I was always team never defer in the Pete Carroll era or the end of the Pete Carroll era.
Well, then our defense wasn't like this.
That's exactly why. I was like, we shouldn't defer because we find ourselves down 3-0, 7-0 all the time. Patriots have come out pretty hot against the Texans, who are still a very good defense. They march right down the field and they put up 7. So they're pretty well. McDaniels is a pretty good beginning of game and beginning of half scripter. So it's just something to watch. And I just wonder if Seattle would consider breaking their tendency to say we're going to defer no matter what, and being like, we want to put pressure on the young man. And the way to do that, we think we can get out to a 7-0 lead and then put them behind a ball where Ramondre is not the main guy, to get them on their skates early. I don't know. I think by the way. I don't think we would. I think we would defer
No, I think
anyway.
we want Shaheed to get the second half kickoff. I think probably most people want that. That's
Yeah.
probably the preference.
Well, it's going to be a lot of fun, man. It's going to be a ton. Are you having any folks over for the game? Family gathering around? What's your plans?
Yeah, my boys are invited to so many places, but they want to watch it with dad, and
Yeah.
like it's like the tug of war of who goes where right now. So I don't know. We're looking into that. I think we'll do it at home with the family, and whether they bring in some friends or not is kind of that's kind of what my wife wants to cook a bunch of cool stuff. She's got stuff coming up next week, so this might be her last chance to do a big cook some things for the family thing. So
Nice.
so she's excited about that.
Good. Well, I hope you guys get to get all that, and then we all get to celebrate. So for the listeners out there, of course, getintheflock.com, like and subscribe on the video and drop comments, drop your predictions. That'd be awesome to hear. Phil, I've been saying it all week. Any chance I get to talk about this, I do not subscribe to it's been a really good year and hey, we'll get back there. It just, God forbid we don't win. We'll get back there. We're young. I do not subscribe to that newsletter. I don't want that newsletter in my inbox. We're here now, and you got to complete the mission over the rest of it. And
think of all the things that had to happen just right for us to get here. Like, as good as we are, we still needed special moments to be special for us.
NFL is really, really difficult. It's very hard to get back to Super Bowls, let alone win them. So when you get the opportunity, we got to go win this game, Phil. I'm fired up. I think we're going to get this W. I think we're going to have an amazing celebration. If we do get the W, when we get the W, we will be going live, and we'll have a chance to all celebrate together. And man, I'm looking very much forward to this matchup on Sunday, dude.
We should.
All right, bud. And I think with that,
there's only one thing left to say. So what if we say,
go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Super Bowl LX.